Money at Work Continuing Education Series. Today's episode centers around life lessons not taught in school. What are 7 life lessons not taught in school and why are they important? First up, you need to understand who you're marrying. You need to show your partner who you really are financially and make sure they show you who they are financially before marriage. Then don't surprise your partner by changing your financial habits when you're married. And of course, ask the same of them. Because if you do, at that point, it's going to cause significant issues. Money is one of the biggest things that couples fight about. The quickest way to a financial downfall is going to be divorce. Think about it. Besides the emotional turmoil, at best you split your money in half. At worst, you probably lose almost all of it through legal fees, administrative costs, excessive living costs, alimony, and child support. Next, you need to understand that having and raising children is going to cost you a lot of money. When you add up the cost of raising kids, the obvious expenditures come to mind. Things like education, childcare, healthcare, food, and clothing. However, don't forget to include things like you're going to need a larger house, a larger car. There's going to be higher utility bills. There's going to be costs associated with entertainment, sports, other activities they'll participate in their childhood. The cost of having and raising a child is about $250,000 before college expenses, depending on your income level and your spending habits. That's a huge expenditure for anyone. Ultimately, you're going to spend more money on them than you do on yourself. You can't be selfish, monetarily or otherwise, if you're going to have children. More importantly, you need to fully understand the long-term financial and lifestyle trade-offs of your decision. In financial terms, children are a significant expense that you and your spouse need to consider prior to starting a family. We also need to always live below our means. If you want to manage your money successfully, this is one of the most important principles to follow. And this is where most Americans have gone and will continue to go wrong in the future. People want to have everything and they want it now. They just can't wait until they can afford it. Waiting until you can afford something before you buy it is very, very important. It will feel better when you do get it. And then if you continue to purchase things that you can't afford, you're going to be on a downward spiral that will ultimately and continually go until you probably end up in some state of bankruptcy. If you always, on the other hand, live below your means, you'll always have extra money to save and invest. And then over the years, your money will continue to grow. And ultimately, you'll find yourself with a significant financial security. Keep in mind that living below your means doesn't mean that you have to live badly. It means that you need to prioritize your spending and focus on what's most important to you. It means ultimately that you're living smartly. You got to invest in yourself. Spend just 1 hour a week learning about personal finance. You can spend this hour on personal finance in several different ways. If you consistently do this, you'll find yourself starting to spend more than that 1 hour. Because once you realize you're gaining so much valuable information and becoming significantly more educated in this important area, you won't be able to stop. So where should you spend your time and energy? You want to start with free resources. And then think about it. During your school years, you spent no time or very little time and energy learning about personal finance. What is an hour a week? Well, it's actually adding up to a lot because over a few years, that's 52 hours your first year, 260 hours over a 5-year period of time, and then 520 hours over a decade period of time. That's probably a minimum of 520 hours more than the average person spends learning about personal finance. You also need to learn how to get rich slowly. The fact is that 99% of millionaires earn their money over time. Very, very few became millionaires overnight. We've all heard about the exception, things like lottery winners and those who inherit a big sum, just to name a couple, but that's rare. It's important to remember that these individuals are the exception. You also need to realize that, getting rich is not an overnight event. It takes time. Most individuals who built their net worth have done so over time. Most of them started with little money or no money and little knowledge of how to make it. Just like you, they started to work out of school and started earning some or a little bit of money, and over time their income grew. They saved more money, invested more money, and learned more about personal money management. They made both good and bad money management decisions, and they learned from both of those. They didn't, quote unquote, live large, but they did live well. They didn't care about the conspicuous consumption, but cared about their money and how they received the best value for their money. So enjoy the journey to wealth. It's going to be slow, but if you do it properly, you're going to realize that the rewards involve a lot more than just money. You've got to set realistic short-term financial goals. It's important to have short-term financial goals to be working towards. The goals need to be realistic and attainable. If not, you're going to stop setting them. Your short-term financial goals should include, but not limited to, both saving and investing goals. You should include rewards as part of your financial goals. If you set financial goals and keep track of them, you have a good chance of achieving them. On the other hand, if you don't set financial goals, you have absolutely no chance of achieving them. Set them both monthly and annually, and then periodically analyze them to see what's going on, what you've achieved, what you've missed, and continue the process quarterly. And then finally, you got to know the score. Always know the scoreboard. Remember, when you're managing your money, you're doing so for a reason. You want to increase your net worth over time. Thus, you got to keep track of your net worth. This is very easy to do. You just need to develop a simple net worth statement and update it regularly. You can develop goals and assess your progress regularly through that statement. Net worth is what dollar value you're actually worth. To come up with this number, you add up all that you own and then subtract everything that you owe. You want more advice on personal finance, money management, millionaire habits, investments, retirement, millionairemindset.life. Stretch your thinking, create your vision, and achieve.